ओम महादेवी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात्.
Namaste. Today I am going to talk about the sadhana based on sexuality. Of course, many people are very fascinated by this sadhana, and it is very important that you have the what you call the legal sanction from the divine. Many people are not allowed to do the sexual sadhana because you end up having babies, and many times you end up having abortion. Unless you have a sanction to do the sadhana, don't get involved in the sadhana. It is not easy. It is not the yoni which is the enjoyment kund. It is actually the karma kund. Whenever the karma, that is the ladle of penis, gets stirred in the yoni, the karmic vapors opens up. So it is very, very important that you realize normal people cannot take the karmic churning as you do the sexual sadhana. I was very, very lucky to attract a Dakini who taught me all the sadhana. We got a wonderful place. It was near a temple of a Devi. I could get the food and I could get everything. She taught me the sadhana based on that. And remember, we hit off as the first time itself. The sadhana took off in a manner, and I realized it was doing that. Remember, if you are a Veera, it is not masculine, is not a Veera simply by talking, but by able to withhold the semen after making the women climax many times. Also, I have practiced the touch. As you touch, the women will get orgasmic. It is there in Angaranga. Of course, I have done the full sadhana of the Yoni Puja, Panchamakar, everything. But the basic attitude is to take her as a Devi and try to give her as much enjoyment and pleasure. Now, you should not try to take enjoyment. You should not try to take pleasure. It should be in the Tyaga Bhava. Whatever the women ask, whatever the women wishes, you should be willing to give. It is a Tyaga Bhava, and you should have the Prasada Bhava. What she gives you, you should be willing to take. And in sadhana, you should not say no to a woman. It's very, very important. And also you should learn to sublimate the energy across as a person. Now many people, they find it as they sublimate the energy, after some time it starts coming out. The best way is to take the energy physically and do it across. Many people don't have a strong will to take the energy and merge it into the Urdhvaratas. Now, they cannot take the earth energy and merge into the heaven energy. Now, when you do the merging of the earth and the heaven energy, you become ultra brilliant. You would be able to channelize any amount of energy across. Then slowly you realize that the sea of vitality is there. You open the sea of vitality and you take all the energy and you merge with the Urdhvaratas. Now that is of another level. But and also when you consciously, when you copulate, you should put your tongue up. You should keep your eyes open. You should not visualize, because if a man visualizes and breathes fast, you are gone. And also you should have done the what you call it as the Ashwini Mudra for a long period of time, because then only as you do the anal contraction, they call it the Kegels exercise, you would be able to hold up. There are a lot of good books are available. In fact, I would recommend Mantak Chia, excellent master. He talks about multi-orgasmic man, multi-orgasmic women, and also the Yoni Tantra. The Yoni Tantra talks about the mantra siddhi, where they chant, you chant with the head of the women, the breast of the women, the yoni of the women, and I have found it is truly true. When you chant at the yoni of the women, immediately the mantra gets siddhified, immediately the vortex opens up, the devata comes down, Amazing stuff. But I taught this technique to people, but many women refused to cooperate because they did not trust their man, I hope. But an amazing sadhana. One is, as you do the sexual sublimation, you would become what you call genius. And also they talk about holding, not even a drop of sperm coming out. That all no need. You just take it whatever you can initially. You'll be able to go into the Veer above. But remember, it is a tantric sadhana. Lot of karmic stirring will be there. Up and down, you can have a lot of churning. Lot of things will break. Sometimes the marriage will break. Everything will be break. But you need the guidance of the Guru or the blessing of the Devata. And when I did the Panchamakar Puja with Mahalakshmi, amazing stuff, amazing. Now, after that, I never had to regret about or think about money. The money just manifested. It is one of the fastest sadhana, the highway speed. But it has 4 components: sexual sublimation, Panchamakar Puja, and the Yoni worship. And the last of the thing is about the treatment of a woman. They say you should never even hit a woman by a flower. And it is an amazing sadhana. Women know that if they meet the Veera, that if they meet the Vishnu or the Brahma, they would always open up. It's an amazing sadhana. Many people have very beautiful wife, but they cannot utilize. They have Vani, Saraswati, they are not able to utilize. Wrongly, if you try to cooperate, it will open the death vortex. I saw a man who had a kidney failure and died because as he was mating, the death vortex had opened up. Now, whenever you mate with a woman, the vortex opens up. That's why the Tantra recommends it. But you need to be very aware, very conscious about it as a person. So the point is, it is an amazing sadhana, but it is wonderful sweet. But you can't live with sweet. You just have to move on. So the 4 things you need to understand: sexual sublimation, Yoni Tantra, Panchamakar Puja, and the way you treat the women. And of course, they add Shav Sadhana in that. I would expect that as a separate topic to talk about it to you as a person. I wish you all the best. But remember, many people get lost with this sadhana. It is not very, very easy. To come back sane is very, very difficult. And you need a lot of divine blessing because each woman can steer up your chakra in different manner. They talk about the 64 yoginis and it can have a lot of impact. And just like Dattatreya, there are women who are both Lakshmi, Saraswati and Durga. And they say in Tantra, if you are going to get into war, you will get a consort. And that's why Dasaratha had Kaiheyi and Krishna had Satyabhama and Rukmani. And they talk about Rasa Leela. And a woman of mine, a friend of mine told me that many people cannot handle even one woman fully, half a woman. How can they have it? It is a very true word, Shakti. They emit energy and they can connect with the vortex very, very fast. And their devotion, they know how to live the world. They call Prajna, divine wisdom. They know how to live a world. They don't need to be taught how to live in this world. I wish you all the best with this sadhana. There are not many books are available other than Mantakchiya's book. And Yoni Tantra you can do. If you have any doubts, you can always write to me and I'll answer it to you. Thank you so much. Namaste. Today I am going to talk about the future prophecies of mine. Many people ask what will happen to the future of the world. Will the COVID destroy everything? Or will there be any world wars? Or will the world survive the downturn due to the environmental pollution? There is a lot of talk which goes about it. Remember, the world is going to become one. We are going to heading into an era of world of one government, one world. Many people talk about Nostradamus prophecy. Actually, Nostradamus prophecy is European centric. He never ever wrote about anything in the world. It is a wild concoction of many people to talk about Nostradamus prophecy connected to the world. When he was alive, there was not much of interaction of the European countries with the other countries. Therefore, to talk about Nostradamus' prophecy connected with Modi and all is absolute rubbish. All that he talked about was the European history and the European rise and king's fall, which he had talked extensively across as a person. So, the first of all, this is a very, very new thing. The world is going to come into one world, one government. Now, many people will ask me, how is that possible? Now, you take this. Earlier, India was 540 kingdoms. The small kingdoms got united. Now, there were villages, cities, and metropolitan cities. The villages fought with each other and they formed cities. The cities fought with each other and they slowly became what you call it as the epicenter of power. Now that is why in Tamil Nadu it is called Seran, Pandian, Soran. Now it's all combined together and formed as an India. Therefore, now slowly the unity of India which happened, just like that there will be the Indian subcontinent will get united with the other countries. Now when the other countries small unity is happening, that you can see in ASEAN. ASEAN is they are trying to connect each other with that of trade, and afterwards the entire Asian continent will unite. Already the European continent has got united, that is called as the European Union. Slowly it will happen with the America, it will be the American Union which will happen. So it will be all the what you call it as the continents will unite with each other and they will form one big entities, because it is very useful for trade and it is very useful for travel. It will be like you can go to Pakistan, Afghanistan very easily without much of passport and all that, so that you can travel all over Asia easily. Now the next level of cooperation will come with war. The Europe has already faced 2 wars. So America uniting the continents will face another 2 wars. Africa facing continents will unite wars, and basically the Asia connecting will face 2 wars. So there will be many small military small wars will be there, but there will be major 2 to 3 wars will be there. So there are totally 5 continents. There will be around 15 wars which will be there. The wars will be of 2 levels. That is one country like Iraq, which is being mulled over by many countries like the NATO alliance, or 2 countries fight with each other like that of Saudi Arabia and Yemen. Saudi Arabia wants to have a total domination about the Middle East, so that they will try to fight more and more unity. Both business, computer and many wars at many facets will come. Ultimately, you will have a grand council where people will elect a lot of people using various mechanism. It will be like European Union, the World Union will be there. There will be a president and there will be a lot of people, subcommittees will be there to take care of it. People will find it very easily to unite, because the internet is breaking the barrier of language, distance and also travel. And now slowly we will come to the point of Vasudhaiva Kudumbam, where we look at the world as one world, one government. This is my first prophecy. The world will become one world and one government, and this is not being told by Nostradamus, and many people will like to attribute to Nostradamus because that is the only well-known name. So we are going to head into one world, one government. The villages will unite with cities. The cities will unite with metropolitan cities. Metropolitan cities will form nation. Nation will unite each other into the continent, and the continents will unite each other. Finally, there will be a continental war which will be there. Afterwards, the world will unite itself. Therefore, World War can be called as the European-centric war, whereas we are yet to see the unity of war happening in many other areas. So, this is my first prophecy about the world. So, you can see the number of prophecies which are appearing across to you as a person. Thank you. Namaste. Today I am going to talk about the what you call the teachings of Zakir Naik, the famous Muslim preacher who has a TV station and a huge following. Now, there are two things I want to clarify at the outset. First of all, we respect Quran, we respect Prophet Muhammad, we respect the great saints who have walked in the Islam, like Rumi, Attar. All great saints we do respect. Second thing is, yes, we do respect the eruditeness of Zakir Naik. Now, what we are opposing is the bigotry of Zakir Naik and the tall claims of Zakir Naik. Let me make it at the outset. I do not have millions of followers like Zakir Naik. Correct. Why? Because you take to Olympics. How many people qualify for the Olympic training? There are very few people will qualify for the Olympic training. You need to have an established record. You must have done already a lot of success. Then only they will qualify for the Olympic training. In fact, somebody went to a long jumper, was an Olympic trainer. She told me there is only 24 people who are training with him for 4 years. So if you want to experience God at the highest levels, you cannot have millions of followers. You cannot train millions of followers. You can only speak to them. So first of all, this is the problem with Zakir Naik. The problem with him is he has 130 million followers. Now we are asking, do you have a record? Do you have the number of hits? No, forget it. I don't have any followers because I am a lover of God and everybody is a lover of God. I will quote Albert Camus. Don't walk in front of me. I cannot follow you. Don't walk behind me. I cannot wait for you. Walk besides me as my friend. So I am a lover of God. I love everybody. I don't want anybody to follow me. I do not want to be followed by anybody because it's very simple. Everybody follows God. Everybody follows the will of God. That is all. The highest levels of the test match, how many people will train for a cricket test match? Very few people. So to get qualified at that level, you cannot have a mass following. And second thing, a lover of God will not ill-treat anybody saying you are my follower. He will say follow God, follow the dictums of the teachings of the great one. That is all. So it is all your pumped up ego that so many people are following me. Now, there is a quotation from Taittiriya Upanishad. There is a quotation. Okay. There is two problems with the entire thing. God in the absolute sense is formless, nameless, which every religion accepts. Hinduism, Muslim, Judaism, every religion accepts. In fact, some African tribes also accept in description of that. But God in practice, how do you reach God? Everybody uses a prop. Now, for example, you ask somebody to do yoga. Now, they cannot do Sirasasana. They need a prop. They need a guide. They need to do some preliminary step. Then only they can reach at the higher levels. So, expecting everybody to understand the absolute truth is not possible. So, people have developed systems. People have developed objective systems. For example, you can use sexuality to reach God. It is called Pariyanga Yogam. It has been practiced in Taoism. It has been practiced in Tantra time immemorial. Now, the second thing is you can use breath. The great Matsyendranath talks about Swara Yoga about it. Now, you can use music. You can use dance. You can use poetry. Poetry is Jalaluddin Rumi. In fact, that great Jalaluddin Rumi's whirling, where they create a vortex and a pillar of light, which is being taken as a UN, as a, what you call it, as a thing to be preserved. There is no God in that. But yet they reach the highest state of consciousness. So Zakir
Demoscends from the Mevlevi order of whirling dervishes are the only ones allowed to perform the ceremony. It's captivating for us, but meant for the heavens. A powerful display performed in a trance-like state.
While we whirl, we say Allah. It's the name of the God. We don't think anything about our family, our work, other people, just Allah.
Every spin, every body position is a deliberate, intentional gesture meant to honor God and embrace His benevolence.
Right hand looks to sky.
So Zakir Nayak, please understand, there are as many millions of people, there are millions ways to train towards moving towards the absolute consciousness. It is not your words alone or one book alone which has the noble truth. No. In fact, Gautam the Buddha says that there are 8 steps you need to follow. Mahavira talks about yama and niyama. So therefore, to claim that it is all about ideal worship, all the religions are talking, is absolutely wrong. In fact, the great Vashishta says, Advaita na samshaya. He says, do not speak the absolute truth to everybody. Everybody cannot understand. So there is painting. In fact, Jonathan Livingstone Seagull talks about a bird who is reaching God. That entire book is that. And there is a samurai. It's called Last Samurai. And that he talks about how the sword fighting makes him to go into Satori. In fact, the Zen has developed the tea ceremony, Ikebana, martial arts, where Miyamoto Musashi talks about the absolute. In fact, the founder of the Aikido, he talks about his enlightenment. So the point is, people have reached absolute consciousness even without the concept of God, even in your religion like Jalaluddin Rumi. Jalaluddin Rumi says very beautifully, he says, that which you are searching is also searching for you. He says, you are also not searching for God. God is also searching for you. So the point is saying that ideal worship is wrong. Ideal worship is a methodology. Is required for few people. Maybe you don't require that. That is all. Now, the second one is, the theory of Islam is very different from practice of Islam. Now, Islam has so many sects, so many varieties. In fact, they go about beating where the blood comes about. There's a bloodletting ritual which is there. You have Sunni, Shia, Wahhab. You have a variety of. Why, if it is absolute truth, why there are so many schools, why there are so many sects? It is because variety is the way of life. Everything in the world will come to variety. You are trying to make everything into one, nothing else. So stop fibbing about your knowledge. Because you quote few Hindu scriptures, it does not mean that you have understood about God. There was a friend of mine who used to go on talking in younger days about sex. He was such a sex pervert. He used to write, he used to paint, he used to talk, go on talking. In fact, we used to feel very, very bad he coming inside. Now he got married. After his marriage, after his first night was over, we called him up and he came to a meeting. He was having coffee. I asked him, what happened to, why you're not talking about anything about sex? He said, it is all very different. The way I talk is very different from the way I experience about it. Same thing, Zakir Nayak. If you had experienced God, you won't be blabbering so much. Going on blabbering. Why do you need to talk? You see a woman, when they fall in love, they don't talk. They don't write poetry. Have you ever seen a woman writing poetry? Very rare. So that's why I asked a woman, what do you do when you fall in love? He says, I merge with my beloved and I try to give him a baby. That's being very practical. No women will write poetry, will feel and cry and all that. A woman in love is very, very clear. Shall we have a commitment? Hell or high water, I will stand with you. So stop talking about that God's love and all that thing you have not experienced. If you have experienced, you will be silent, or poetry will flow like Rumi, Attar, all those great saints, the Sufi saints, including the great Hakim Sanai. Let me quote, he knows the touch of the hand moving in darkness, know well to well about it. We tried our ways with reasoning. It never worked. Hakim Sanai. I am quoting you back. So this is the first problem. You cannot have follower if you are a lover of God. You cannot talk about hatred and say only monoita is the only one way must be there. There will be multiple ways. Also, the famous debate of Adi Shankara and Mandana Mishra is boiled down to what you are talking, Zakir Nayak. Adi Shankara says God is absolute. You don't need ritual. Mandana Mishra talks about Mimamsa. He said you need ritual. You need a prop. Adi Shankara wins the debate for a variety of reasons. It's okay. So the question is whether God is absolute form or about the formlessness has been going on. It is called Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta Advaita. God the Son, God the Father, God the Holy Spirit. The Holy Trinity has been talked about time immemorial. So talking that, oh, why do you worship ideal worship? It is required for a few people. That is all. What is wrong in that? Since you have never practiced, you have always hated, you have always tried to use your tongue to give the bali of other people's religion, other people's belief. You go on talking. I met a saint, I met a real Himalayan saint, and I went and sat in his presence. He told me, this is the problem you have come, it will get okay. I asked him, Swamiji, why? How is that you are answering all my questions even without me talking to you? He said, your mind is merged with God's mind. My mind is also merged with the God's mind. So there is no need to talk. But I am talking to you to make that understanding. That is all. So if you are a great saint, you don't need a question and answer. Why do you need a question and answer? You will simply say you recite Quran, you recite the great works of the Prophet, you do the dua. Why do you need to answer questions and question and answer? You don't need. Which means in essence, I want to ask you, you are talking about follower of God. Are they following you? Are they following Quran? Are they following Muhammad? It's all true. They are following Quran, they are also getting inspired with your word, and they are also following the Prophet Muhammad. So if these three things can coexist, God can exist with Advaita, Dvaita and Vishishta Advaita. That is all. Just because everybody keeps quiet, it doesn't mean that you can stand tall among the dwarfs and talk about it. Everything is multi-dimensional. When it is multi-dimensional, that is why the great Prahlad said very beautifully. Hiranyakashipu comes and asking, do you mean to say your God exists in this? He said, yes, God exists even in a tiny particle. God exists in everything. So you go on tapping this, you will find God. If you go on tapping the mic, at the end of it, everything is God. Aham idam sarvam brahmam. So what is the question of telling that if you do this, you will not reach God? You will not. Who said? Everybody will reach God. That is why when Saint told me, he said, boss, everybody will reach God sooner or later. It is just a long train. It is an illusion to think that you will not go back to your home. Some people have done faster, but maybe those lifetime they must have practiced. So please, Zakir Nayak, don't talk as if that you know everything and because you quote, it means you are well read and your Islam is the thing. You say MashaAllah, we say Hare Krishna. Why do you say MashaAllah? Don't say if you are absolutely knowing. The problem is everybody needs to remember the word of God. In a Muslim, you have Ashtodha, you have the 108 names of God. Why did they keep 108 names of God? If God was absolute, God is described in the qualities. So, the problem with the entire thing is, you have confused between the form and the formlessness of God, the method and the theory of God. That is where the problem and the confusion lies, Zakir Naik. That is why your son has become involved in terrorism. You are not a peaceful man. You are a violent man waiting to finish everybody. And please understand, there is a left hand of God. There is a right hand of God. No, in the absolute sense, no. But in the practice, the left hand of God does not have any rules. That is why you can drink, you can smoke, you can have as many women as possible. Now you see Islam, they wear black clothes. You see Aghoris, they wear black clothes. They write, everybody writes from left to right. Islam people write from right to left. We have Sikar, you have beard. So it is all about reverse process. So it is Tantra. Why does Muhammad says you can have as many women as possible? Because he must have practiced Tantra. He must have used the sexual energy to sublimate his Kundalini. So how can you say that it means you simply want to justify everything and says my religion is the best? That is all. It is like a simple child telling I am the best, I am the best, I am the best, my thing are best. You are so uncertain. That is why you go on telling I am the best, I am the best. So answer my two questions. What is wrong? In the right hand of God, you have a lot of discipline, nema, which is brahmacharya, non-violence. You cannot eat, you will have to fast. So the point is, there are methods which are available. If you want to reach using the mind of God. Now God has a mind. Please understand, God has everything. He is long, short and all. You can say, oh God, how can you have a mind? You are an idiot if you say God doesn't have a mind. God has a heart. God has power. God is everything. So when a soul is taking the mind of God, it will go like Jesuits. It will go like the Sufis. When it is taking the heart of God, you will become a lover of God, write poetry, do music. If you are going to go into the power of God, it is where the Agora and all the different sects which talks about it. So the point is, you are getting confused about the practice and the theory of God. And you need to understand, few people need a prop. That is why they have kept Devata Yoga. Now, when a lower astral is attacking you, and in the astral realm, you will not claim, because astral realm you have never studied, you have never experienced. So the point is, when the astral world opens up in the dream and in your death, and when the vortex of energy opens up, people need prop. So the point is, that is why people follow great men. Because in essence they are God. Anything you go deep, you will experience God. There was a Tibetan master who came and he entered a monastery. There's a guy who said, I want to experience God. He said, come, we will do the sky meditation. He just both of them lie down and he said, you experience the sky? He said, yes. You experience absolute emptiness? He said, yes. And that guy was gone. And he come back and touched the thing. Please don't talk about God. Make people experience about God. Why do you need to talk? Child talks. It is like talking about hunger and the dishes. When you eat, you do not talk. Somebody went to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He touched and they experienced cosmic consciousness. That's all. So the point is, all these fibbing, oh I am this, oh I am that, oh I am that. At the time of the death, when the tongue doesn't open, the mind is into delusion and pain. When the effect of crucio happens, can you remember your prayer? It is very, very difficult. So they have a dream bardo practice. So different religions have developed different methodology. So please understand that absoluteness of God. When even Bhagwan Ramana talked about it, he talked about a method, he never talked about God. He said, ask who I am. It is like a Zen Kwan. Zen Kwan, there is no God. They say, what is the sound of one hand clapping? That is all.
What is the sound of one hand clapping?
I don't know. What is the sound of one?
So, the point, Zakir Nayak, you might be a very elderly person, but you might be a child in the world of spirituality. There is classification in psychology. There is classification in everything. Not all souls are equal. There is classification in business. Top 100 fortune companies. There is classification in the countries. There is classification in the rule. So, everybody cannot understand the absolute truth in one go. Buddha says it has to be repeated. Once for the eyes, once for the ears, once for the nose, one for the tongue. The problem is you are massively egoistic about the learning. It is called Vidya Garvam. If your memory is gone, entire sadhana is gone. And in the left hand of God, according to their practice, they can give bali. That bali is called bakrit. That bloodletting is called as the, what you call it as cup therapy, they put it. So, please understand each one according to their swabhav and nature and about the approach has a very different methodology. So, don't talk about absoluteness of God and corner people saying that, oh, you are worshipping demigod. There are people and methodology which you have not never read. Have you read Swara Yoga of Matsyendranath? No. Have you read the sutras of Patanjali? Have you read that Shiva Samhita? He says, knowing, using the mantra is one method. The first method talks about breath in Shiva Samhita. So please, don't talk rubbish. Don't claim yourself to be absolute. Nobody questioned me. Nobody did that. It is like a little boy going and telling him, oh, nobody questioned me in my... Who wants to be questioned? Second thing, I don't expect you to call me. It's very, very simple. Answer it through your TV itself. We will have a debate at that level. We don't need debate of meeting people. Why? Because sitting and watching, the grass grows by itself when the spring comes. That is all. In an absolute stillness, when you experience the divine light, divine consciousness, you will be writing poetry. Or streams of tears will come as love. Not this hatred what you are talking, Zakir Nayak. So please do not confuse between Advaita, Dvaita and Vishishta Dvaita. Advaita, the great Shankaracharya said, Shivoham, Shivoham, everything is consciousness. Ramanuja said there is both form and formlessness. Then the great the great Madhva Guru, Madhvacharya said very beautifully. He said, God and you are different. You need method and practice. Stop fibbing. So do not confuse between the practice and the method and the diversity. And there are objective methods without using any God's name. People have transcended the consciousness. God can be used as a Baba of a father, Baba of a mother, Baba of a wife, Baba of a lover. Some people can relate. They worship on the emotions part of the life. Just like Vata, Pitta, Kapha exists, just like type A, type B, type C, there are personality exists and there are props are needed for the people. So don't claim that everybody who is using a prop is a kafir. So please, this is not an intellectual argument. Please change yourself. Maybe our guys knows how to, they have never read the scriptures like you. That's why I said I appreciate your eruditeness. You have read many books, nothing wrong. You'll go on reading, you will never practice. So therefore, if a person has experienced hunger, if a person has experienced love, if a person has experienced sex or God, they will never talk about it like this. They will never have a hate campaign. You are developing monsters with your speech. You are telling go kill people. You have a double tongue. Private you will talk, public you will talk one thing. Because you are frightened. I don't have fear. What I am inside is what I am outside. I do not have followers. Because I train people for the World Olympics. That is what huge spirituality difference. LKG everybody is telling how many people reach PhD. So therefore people need props. There are methods you have no understanding. Zakir Naik including the great whirling of Jalaluddin Rumi where there is no God. So please stop fibbing. Stop trying to say things, oh you have this, you have that. You are also remembering the name of God. That is why we are called Mahavakyas. Aham Brahmasmi. Shivoham Vishnuham. That is the same thing what you are using as MashaAllah. First there was word and the word was with God and the word became God. It's called Nama Smarana. It's also a technique used by you. So what is wrong if somebody identifies consciousness with that name? Instead of a limited personality, Jesus is identified as a person, God the Son, then God the Father, God the Holy Spirit. When they move into the extreme consciousness, he is taken as an absolute sense. So please understand, don't talk like this, all this childish fashion and the people who have 100. And another problem is Hindus have dollar a dozen philosophers. In your thing, there are very limited people. And you people don't believe in talking. You believe in, all your great kings believe in action. So if you have the guts, if you have the courage, don't look at my followers. Answer my question. Have you tried Swara Yoga? Have you tried Pariyanga Yoga? So Devata Yoga in itself is very, very different. It is not about demigod worship. It is a worshipping, oh why do you worship fire? You are using a name which is an air element. If you have reached absolute sense, you also don't need a method. So don't question about other people. They can worship, use fire and reach God, air and reach God, earth and reach God. Somebody use magic and reach God. So the point is, it is all about reaching the ultimate consciousness. And please don't follow me, Zakir Nayak. I don't have followers. I have only lovers. And lovers don't follow. And those who follow are not lovers. Is this not poetical? Please answer this. Then we can talk about other things. So you say, oh, I won the debate. What is there to talk to debate? Ramakrishna went for a debate. Somebody called him up. He said, okay. The fellow spoke. He simply went and hugged. He said, oh, wow, what a way you speak. There is nothing to talk. Enough of this theory. You have Japamala, we also have Japamala. What is wrong? Everybody has killed in the name of religion. Hindu, Muslim, Christian, everybody, Buddhist, everybody has killed. There are rogues and rascals in every religion. I hope you do not become a rogue or a rascal. You do not become the two-tongued snake which you are there. And I pray God with all my consciousness, may Zakir Naik be filled with your divine light and divine love. May he stop preaching this hatred and killing people. May he never be followed. May his words be tested in real time. So be it, so be it, so be it. Namaste. Today I am going to talk a very important topic, how to do the transition from work to business. Now many people wanted to start their own business, become independent, leave the 9 to 8 job or 9 to 6 job. They want to do things on their own. They want to be very, very successful. They want to make lakhs and crores of rupees. Unfortunately, there are not many people who will be able to do this dream. They find it very, very difficult, and many people start business and they end up losing a lot of money in their life. They never make money. For example, one of my friend was there. He was working along with me and he started a business and he lost money in that. Again he started a business. Again he lost money in the business. Like that, 5 to 6 times he had tried starting business in his life, and ultimately he had ended up working in his life. Therefore, the first thing you understand in your life is that not many people will be able to achieve this dream of becoming independent. For example, my father was a government servant, and in his era starting a business was very, very difficult. Now after the privatization of India, many people were able to start a business. But the problem with the business is lot of people lose money in the business. They don't make money and they end up having debts and they have a lot of problem. Now I know a person whom I call as X. Actually the X wanted to start a business. He started doing a business. The problem was the business was that of the stock market and he lost a lot of money in the business. I'd advised him to go back to work and try to build this business slowly. In fact, he is working in Renault. At the same time, he is having a business of taking classes for online examination. And over a period of time, he has actually made a lot of money in this online examination, and he does not want to be with the particular job, but it's going to take time for him to leave the job. So the point is, how do we make the transition? How do we do the thing? So I am going to talk about the first technique of setting up your own business. The first technique of setting up your own business is you have to ask yourself the honest question. Now many people do not ask the honest question is why you want to start the business. The motive of wanting to start the business is very, very important. Now I asked a couple of people, why is that you wanted to start a business? Now people say, I want to make money, which is a very good motive. And some people say, I hate my job. I hate my boss. I hate everyone. I don't want to report to anyone across. Now I want to be vacationating in Caribbean or in Maldives. All these ways of talking are not going to help. You need to find a positive reason why you want to start a business in your life. Now many people hate their job. So whatever you hate in your life, it will continue to be sticking on your life. Now many people hate their job, many people hate their boss, hate their company, hate because they have to report it to someone. Like this, there is so much of hatred in their life. Instead, they should try to focus on the positivity. Like, I can make money, I can contribute it to my family, I want to take care of so many people. This product is wonderful. I want to make them come out of, I want to make this product available for the whole world. I want to bring in a lot of peacefulness in people's life. I met a businessman whom I asked him what was the aim of him doing the business. He said, initially I want to do the business because I want to make money. Now looking back, there are 20 people employed under me. I want to take care of everyone. I want to be the father figure of everyone, and they are dependent on me. That is why I try to put the money right at the beginning of the first itself, because many people find it very difficult. They struggle a lot. They have a lot of problem which I don't want to give it to an employee. See the noble motive behind it. So do not hate your job. Do not get angry with your boss. Do not hate your company, because what you hate will continue to be sticking on in your life, and what you love will definitely be in your life. So become positive. And now I want to learn a lot. I want to contribute to a person's a lot. I want to take care of my family. I want to accomplish new levels of business. Like that, you should have a positive intent. This is very, very important in the business when you are doing that. Now many people are very angry, very upset, they hate, they want to prove a point. Actually, I know one person by name Sandeep. Actually, what happened, he was talking to his wife of wanting to start a business. In fact, they went on talking and suddenly they realized they should not do any business. They went ahead and resigned the job immediately without a prior plan, without any understanding. They just jumped into the business. So the most important thing is you should have a proper intent of why you want to do the business. The intent must be positive, the intent must be contributory, the intent must be defined in the joy. The second thing, important thing in the business is you will take time to make it happen. Now, to make a transition from work to business, it is going to take time. It requires a lot of effort and energy. It is not an overnight process. I met a businessman who told me very clearly, he said, Gopal, if you need to survive, please understand, the first 3 years are very, very difficult to survive in the business. Now, if you can go through the grit and the grind of 3 years across, you would be able to succeed. So the first and the most important thing is you should be willing to do a long haul. Now you should give yourself 3 to 5 years time of completely getting into business. Do not try to think next 1 month I will make it, 6 months I will make it, 5 months I require to make it. No, that is not going to happen, because that is where the failure rates are very huge. People actually set a very short time to accomplish their aim, which does not get translated into a personal reality. So if you want to do business, you want to be very successful in business, now that is going to take a lot of time into doing this. It's going to take probably years. Most of the case, people are so restless, they want it in months and weeks, the entire thing to take off. So please understand that the business requires a lot of hard work, lot of focus, and lot of intent, a positive intent into your life across. Do not try to have a negative intent, and you will find it too difficult to accomplish anything, because a positive intent will give you focus, a positive intent will give you motivation and inspiration to do the business, whereas a negative intent is not going to do that. The second thing is accept the simple truth, it's going to take years. Now if you probably succeed within 1 year, you tell yourself it's goddamn luck, and it is really goddamn luck. Not everybody would be able to do that kind of business at the very start itself. It's very rare, very lucky. But if your father is into business or your relatives are into business, then it is very easy for you to do the business. If these people are not in the business, you will find it very, very difficult. It will be challenging. It is called as the first time entrepreneur. The first time entrepreneur always takes time to succeed, and you must understand it is going to take time. Now once you get this into a framework, it will be very, very easy for you to succeed in the business. Now keep watching the class. You will learn a lot about how to go about starting a business, how to go about running a business, and which would be very, very helpful to you. Thank you.